Federal Capital Territory Administration demolishes 480 shops at UTC complex to give way for renovation. Elected PDP members asked to close ranks as Bauchi State Governor emerges chairman PDP Governors Forum and party braces up to be viral opposition party. Bandits killed 6 people in a renewed attack on farmers in Baradu local government area of Zamfara State. And lastly, Ugandan soldiers killed by Al-Shabaab militants in Somalia. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Martia Umar. Thank you for joining. And now the news in detail. The Joint Task Force of the Federal Capital Territory Administration has demolished the UTC shopping complex at Garki, Area 10, Abuja. The demolition of the 30-year-old structure that was carried out in the early hours of Saturday caught most of the shop owners unaware, with many shedding tears as a result of the exercise. The task force barricaded the area and used tear gas to ward off any resistance from a pocket of shop owners who were at the scene at the time of the demolition. Over 480 shops were demolished when the Joint Task Force of the FCTA stormed the area and prevented the shop owners from salvaging valuable items from their shops before demolition began. Early this year, FCTA served notice of demolition to the shop owners, but the owners contested the move and instantly rejected the offer of alternative shopping complex by instituting court action against the administration. Some of the affected persons lamented huge losses as a result of the demolition, saying the FCTA task force declined all entries to allow them to salvage some of the wares in the shop. In reaction, the FCTA said the complex had to be demolished to give way for the needed rebounding of the place. The Deputy Director, Monitoring and Inspection Department of Development, Hassan Ogbole, said the demolition of the complex was to restructure it into a befitting shopping complex required to grow SMEs to address global business needs and challenges. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has asked elected members of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to unite the party and make a viral opposition, even as he hopes to reclaim his electoral victory at the Election Petition Tribunal. Atiku Abubakar made the call during a special PDP retreat for the elected officials held at the Banquet Hall, Government House, Bauchi. Adamu Imam has more.
The stakeholders of the People's Democratic Party converge in Bauchi to chart way forward after losing 2023 presidential election and governorship election in Sokoto and Benue states, though the party retained sizable number of seats in the 10th assembly. The gathering recorded large turnout of elected party members at national and the states level. Presidential candidate of the party Atiku Abubakar re-echoed his determination to be Nigeria's president, urging members to unite and close ranks.
You must remember those and that Nigerians expect your work as National Assembly members to reflect those promises that we made to them. That you are not currently in the INEC selected governing party is not an adequate excuse.
Some of the party chieftains stressed the need for party supremacy, explaining it is time members maintain some semblance of political maturity and sophistications in the Nigerian politics.
We know it, and we have a responsibility to mobilize like minds to build a party that will be responsive to the aspirations of Nigerians.
Conflicts with the governors and within our ranks serve only to divide us and undermine our shared objectives. Our governors are partners in progress, and it is by working with them, not against them, that we can effect the desired change.
It's only when we work together and they work together with their governors that they can escalate it to the national level, to bring to the forefront issues as they relate to their various states and as they disturb their states because they are the representative of both the governor and the people from their various states to the national level. If we are united, no matter the circumstances, no matter the challenges, we will eventually, within the context of the optics, in content and in character, manifest good opposition. And that will be for the betterment of Nigerians.
Former Governor Kaduna State Senator Ahmed Makarfi and the host Governor Bala Mohammed also speaks on key issues that need to be addressed to make the party stronger.
There's a time you collaborate, even with the majority legislators or those in government. There are times you oppose, except if you are defeated.
Governments will come and go, but our country will remain. And as a responsible opposition, we must, where it is required, do things in the interest of this country. Because if there's no Nigeria, then there's no us.
Seyi Makinde, Governor of Oyo State, PDP members agreed to support their candidates at various election tribunals to reclaim their electoral victories. Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed and his Rivers State counterpart, Siminalayi Fubara, emerged chairman and vice chairman of PDP Governors Forum. And Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
John Kizito has emerged Speaker of the Taraba State House of Assembly after inauguration of the 11th Assembly. The inauguration followed Governor Agbu Kefa's proclamation. The report.
After reading the proclamation for the inauguration of the 10th Assembly, Clerk of the House, Mele Ogungu, called for nomination from members to elect a new Speaker of the House. Member representing Wukari 2 constituency, Josia Yaro Angie, nominated John Kizito Benzina, representing Zin constituency, to retain his position as a Speaker of the House.
I want to promise you an open door policy. In particular, I also want to make proposal for my brothers. I therefore appeal to you for your cooperation to support and prayers for the success of this assembly.
Members agreed that Kizito to remain the Speaker of the House. Hamma Adams Abdullahi also emerged Deputy Speaker, and the duo were sworn in immediately. The Speaker performed his first official function by swearing in members of the Assembly.
The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And that I will abide by the code of conduct contained in the fifth schedule with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God.
Out of 24 members of Taraba State House of Assembly, PDP leads with 13 members, followed by APC with 7 and NNPP with 2. SDP and APGA have 1 member each. In the meantime, Governor Agbu Kefa has asked residents to support the new administration to ensure security and safety of the people in the state. The governor told newsmen that his administration will give chance to the younger generation to showcase their talent. In the press briefing, Kefa promised to go around the 16 local governments of the state to ascertain the level of their achievement so as to know the necessary projects that need to be considered in order to set the state running to ensure the well-being of the indigents.
I have to carry people along so that it won't be as if I'm taking decision. Already I have, but I need to consult very widely. I need to allow people from their community to make contribution so that we work together as a team. So that I won't be like Mr. No.
Taraba State has been battling with communal unrest, banditry, and kidnap for ransom.
The Oyo State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal has dismissed the petition by the Action Alliance Party, AA, against Governor Seyi Makinde and the PDP. The court in Ibadan also awarded the sum of 600,000 naira against the petitioner. The three-man panel tribunal are Justice Ejiro Emudainowo, Justice Baraka Wali, and Justice R.S. Galadima. The chairman of the tribunal, Justice Ejiro Emudainowo, in her ruling dismissed the petition and awarded a cost of 100,000 naira to the first respondent, 250,000 naira to the second respondent, and 250,000 naira to the third respondent, respectively. The petitioner's lawyer, Orowe Tibo, had told the court that he wanted to discontinue and withdraw his petition. He tendered his apology to the tribunal and senior counsels. In his reaction to the ruling, the lead counsel to the appellant, Kunle Kelajaye, called the amendment of the electoral law.
We actually withdrew the matter in the interest of justice, in the interest of peace, in the interest of tranquility in Oyo State. That is why we withdrew the application. We reviewed our position and we said it is best we withdraw the application for peace to reign.
The Electoral Act ought to be amended to create a threshold that if you have not scored at least a quarter of all the total votes cast in the state, you should not come to the election tribunal. It is high time we looked at the provisions of our electoral law so that only serious petitioners will have access to the courts. I think a threshold should be created that if you have not won XY number of votes, which constitute 25% of the total number of votes in the whole state, you should not come to the tribunal. Because if not, on serious petitions like this will abound.
And away from election petitions, Kogi State Governor Yahya Bello has vowed to crunch anyone or group of persons bent on breaching the peace and progress of the state. The governor said this at the Government House in Lokoja on Saturday while unveiling the running mate to the All Progressives Congress Party governorship candidate Ahmed Ododo for the November 11 governorship election in the state. He said there's no hiding place for any political thug, miscreant, or whoever is hiding under politics to penetrate evil in the atmosphere of Kogi, stressing that his administration will go after such people and bring them to justice. The APC named Joel Saliu as the running mate to its standard bearer, Ahmed Ododo, in the November governorship election in the state. Saliu was a former state chairman of the Nigeria Union of Teachers, NUT. And no fewer than 26 persons were killed by suspected terrorists who launched a renewed attack on farmer at Jambako, Sekida and Selau village of Maradu local government area of Zamfara state. Eyewitness accounts said that the terrorists attacked the farmers when they were preparing their farms for the year season in the morning hours of Saturday, June 3rd. Sources from the troubled community said 21 persons were killed at Jambako, while 5 persons from Sekida and 2 at Saulawa were left with different degrees of injuries. They confirmed that the 21 persons who were killed at Jambako had been buried, adding that the other 5 from Sekida community have also been buried according to Islamic rites. The Police Public Relations Officer of Zamfara State Command, ASP Yazid Abubakar, confirmed the incident. Still on a sad note, at least 2 soldiers were reportedly killed and several others injured when the Islamic State of West African province ISWAP terrorists attacked reinforced troops with a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device in Abadam local government area of Borno State. It was gathered that the troops who were on reinforcement to boost the task force of Sector 3 and Sector 4 multinational joint task force in Jarere and Arege came under attack by the assailants. A report said during the attack 2 soldiers were killed while several others soldiers were injured. And sources said that the troops later repelled the attack and held their position and equipment. The number of terrorists persons killed, including the suicide bomber, was unconfirmed. And the ISWAP terrorists had intensified attacks using varied landmines to prevent troops' incursion into their enclaves. The troops of Operation Hardin K and Multinational Joint Task Force said since May 6 and 28 eliminated 55 ISWAP terrorists, including some top commanders in a major offensive in the terrorist hideout in the fringes of Arege in Malam Fatori, Abadam local government area of Borno State. You're watching Trust TV News Update. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at what this year's rains have in store for us. Details of this story and more after the break. Do stay with us. You're welcome back. You're watching Trust TV News Update, a recap of our top stories. We told you earlier that the Federal Capital Territory Administration demolishes 480 shops at UTC complex to give way for renovation. And elected PDP members asked to close ranks as Bauchi State Governor emerges chairman PDP Governors Forum, and party braces up to be viral opposition party. And moving on, the management of Taraba State Polytechnic Jalingo has postponed the institution's examination scheduled to commence on Saturday, June 3rd, 2023. The postponement was as a result of attempt by some students that are yet to pay their school fees to write the examination without paying the school fees. Our reporter was at the premises of the school and now reports.
The premises of Taraba State Polytechnic Jalingo was deserted Saturday morning after some students staged a demonstration to protest the decision of the school to deny those who have not paid fees the chance to write examinations.
What I know is that we were in the exam hall writing exams, so all of a sudden students started writing on what we don't know. So the little thing I know is that it happened because of exam card and course form, because it was written in our notice board that if you don't have exam card, you won't be writing exams.
It don't make sense, so that's why the students just are shouting that they will not allow this kind of nonsense to happen, because we are all students and want to graduate. Because I on my understand, I know that if you went there and write the exam, you have a carryover or you have a summer that you know you write the thing. But the one that you never even sit down in the exam at all, somebody just say you come back for summer, it doesn't make sense.
And actually, I will be very happy if the school management will put information on time before anything commences. Yes. Because if the school management did not enlighten or create awareness to students before making any implementation, sometimes it will be a problem like this. It will arise this issue and which students may miss their life, and it can lead to anything that will cause a problem to the society.
The Dean, School of Basic and Applied Sciences, Akimba Peter Atoba, stated that the school had given enough time for students to pay their fees, adding that until the time for exams, most of them are yet to comply.
We were not really strict about the time when they have to pay these school fees. We gave them the grace, an open grace, that even a day prior to the exams, you can still pay your school fees. And that will deny you opportunity of writing an examination if fee is not paid.
He said if the students are allowed to write exams without paying their fees, the number of uncollected results and certificates will increase astronomically, a situation he said does not augur well for the institution.
And there is no institution where if you have not paid school fees, you are allowed to write exams. It also go to the level that some cases where you have not paid your school fees, you will not even be allowed to attend lectures. So those that wrote the examinations were those that actually paid school fees. and those that were not privileged to rise, it was an indication that they didn't pay school fees.
At the time of filing this report, the situation had been brought under control with no casualty recorded.
Some Nigerians say there's a lot the present administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs to address to achieving its target of boosting the nation's economy through agriculture. With the rainy season already here, stakeholders say providing farming inputs and agrochemicals at subsidized rate to farmers will make a great deal. Salis Lawan takes a look at some factors hampering smooth development in the agri value chain. Take a look.
The rainy season already is here, but farmers say they are yet to receive any form of support from government for their 2023. Capital, labor, machinery, as well as inputs like planting materials and agrochemicals are some major need of farmers to boost their production capacity, as well as help toward improving the economy. As peace gradually returns to the affected communities of Adamawa, farmers and herders in the affected areas have been tasked to embrace the use of alternative dispute resolution to resolve issues rather than resort to confrontations and aggressive combat. Some of them told Trust TV some factors fueling the crisis between farmers and herders, especially on the areas of creation of cattle runs and roads.
Misal wodi burto don daga handere yola don gol to kangol burta hangol nata turwa kamaru minin kamin do be boda min daga for local government.
We need government at all levels to look into the area of creating cattle roads that have been turned into farmland and also rehabilitated the cattle ranches. If that is done, I believe farmer-herder clashes will be a thing of the past.
The possible solution is the federal government already did a feasibility studies and at least came with a white paper that we must at least produce a land for herders and also farmers, that is range. So with this, actually, let's try. If you try this, actually the peace must be available.
In the past, there are 5 local governments in the states that are like a battleground. Even passerbys sometimes are being affected because of what is happening there. But I can confidently tell you that peace has returned to these areas because of the actions of our governor and the contributions of all stakeholders.
Stakeholders say they are committed to confronting security challenges that may negatively affect food production in the state, even as they urge both farmers and herders to continue to live in peace and demonstrate tolerance and forgiveness.
It will sanitize, it will bring a peace between the herders and farmers, and they will respect the stakeholders. Whenever there is a problem, they will call their men, they will call their attention and advise them and tell them what to do and what not to do. Each person has his own boundaries. The farmers have their own, the herders have their own. But let them understand their stand. They are driving toward the same intention, same target.
To end the persistent crisis, stakeholders suggest that a new policy framework on the farmers' pastoralist crisis should be developed that is both comprehensive and mutually beneficial to both groups. Salis Lawan, Trust TV News, Yola.
And away from Nigeria, Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni has announced the deaths of 54 Ugandan soldiers in an Al-Shabaab attack on a base housing African Union peacekeepers in Somalia. Museveni's statement comes a week after Al-Shabaab fighters stormed the base in Mara, 130 kilometers southwest of the Somali capital, Mogadishu. And the armed group claimed it carried out suicide bomb attacks on May 26th and killed 137 soldiers. Museveni said that the Ugandan People's Defense Forces had since recaptured the base from the Al-Qaeda-linked armed group. Al-Shabaab has been fighting since 2006 to replace Somalia's Western-backed government with its own rule based on the strict interpretation of Islamic law. A Russian air raid on the central Ukrainian city of Dnipro has wounded 20 people, including 5 children. Sahil Isak, the regional governor of Dnipro, said that 3 of the children were in serious condition following the attack on a residential district. A total of 17 people were being treated in hospital. Media reports said emergency team had pulled 4 people from on the rumble area known as Pedhoroneska, and the Russian air raids over Ukraine have ratcheted up in recent weeks, as have incursions in the opposition direction. Russian officials said Ukrainian shelling killed 2 people in Belgorod, border region that had been hit by repeated attacks this week. The latest deaths bring the overall toll in Belgorod border villages to 7 this week. Kyiv has 4 months said it is preparing for a major counter-offensive against Moscow's occupation forces in its look to reclaim territory lost since Russia invaded in February 2022. And that brings us to the end of the news update at this hour. For more, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Martia Umar. Thank you for joining.